Alright everyone, and welcome back to Hoser Chat Kinda Live. This is our 10th episode, and we're now in our permanent Schnazzy studios. As you can see, it's really just two flags, and the camera's a little more backed up. But it looks a lot better.
It does.
At least
it's very simple, and
it's more roomy for us too. We were a little cramped before. But yeah, this is where we'll be doing the rest of the show for the rest of the hockey season.
yeah.
And Paul has some news about our contest that we were running.
Yeah, we have a winner, and that winner is Justin Likes Hockey. It's quite the name. He's from Sweden, I believe.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so he's getting a Steve Thomas card. So Justin Likes Hockey, send us your address, and it will be shipped out.
Well, it's good to see that the Scandinavian people are watching the show. That's very important.
It
No,
is.
really it is, because...
The European market's growing quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I've seen a few people from Finland
Yeah.
out there as well.
There's a couple of Czech guys as well.
Yeah,
Czech Republic.
yeah. So that's good.
Yeah,
It's good to
for
see.
sure.
It's good to see. So anyways, we're going to talk... Paul's going to kind of field some... a lot of the questions that you've been asking us, or like discussion topics that you would like us to talk about, that's kind of where we're going to go with this little episode. And Paul, take it away, and we'll talk about them. We're not going to give answers because we don't know anything, but
Yeah.
we'll discuss them.
Well, the first one I'm going to bring up is it's going to probably maybe take us the longest, so I'll bring that up first. And Bruins Fan 08 asks, what does the future have in store for the Bruins?
This year I think they'll be better than last year. I don't think it's very hard to be better than last year. I mean,
No.
Chara had a bit of a rough year last year, so you've got to think he's going to get better. I really like them picking up Dennis Wideman for
Yeah,
Brad
for sure.
Boyes. Even though I think it was a pretty even trade, but getting Dennis Wideman was very important for them because he's going to give them 22 minutes a night, and that's what they really needed. And Wideman's a pretty good offensive player. He's also a very good defenseman as well, so picking him up. And of course, the biggest acquisition was picking up Manny Fernandez, because I really have no belief in Tim Thomas's ability to be a big-time goaltender.
He
And
faces a lot of shots, that's why he sort of looks like a highlight reel goalie.
No, yeah, exactly. And I think Fernandez, although a little overweight, some might say, and maybe his attitude's not in the right place, I think he'll be given the opportunity to thrive in Boston, and it really all comes down to him if they have a chance of making the playoffs. I mean, Savard's going to be good for 90 points again this year, you got to imagine. They really need Bergeron to rebound and probably have a 70 to 80 point year as well. So their offense is all right. I mean, it's not overly dynamic, but it'll be good enough to score goals. And for them, it's just about keeping the goals against get it down, because they let in way too many goals last year.
Their defense is too immobile and too fat. I find that like Wideman was a good acquisition just because he's somewhat mobile.
Yeah.
I like what they have in the future. They have some pretty good goaltending prospects. I mean, Toivonen had a pretty shaky year last year, but
Tuukka
Rask going up.
That's a move that I...
Phil Kessel, like he could be a 30, 35 goal scorer in the future, sort of a Tony Amonte type of guy. Who else do they have upcoming? Matt Lashoff. He's a sort of prospect defenseman.
Yeah, of all the Northeast teams, I think my knowledge is the most shaky on the Bruins.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's kind of it's sad that's what happened to the Boston market. I mean, they're averaging, not the restaurant chain, the franchise. No, they're averaging about 14,000 a game. Their season ticket base is dwindling. They're in a city where they're the least important team of the four major sports by far now, with the Celtics getting Kevin Garnett and the Patriots and the Red Sox being so successful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Bruins really have to start winning some games and winning their fans back, because, I mean, they're getting no coverage here in Canada, that's all I know. And I definitely know they get not nearly as much coverage in Boston.
No,
So, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I don't think they're going to come close. But, I mean, if Chara plays great the way he did during his Norris Trophy nominee year, who knows where he can take them. He's a good player.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Can't touch hockey. I know you're going to have an opinion about this. He says the Leafs will suck until they get Ferguson out.
Do I think Ferguson's a bad general manager? I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's good. I think he's pretty average.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of moves to save his job. For instance, the Raycroft deal was a little rushed, in my opinion, even at the time. Although I was guarded. I thought Raycroft would be a lot better. I still thought it was a poor trade. He's made a lot of bad signings, in my opinion, too. Brian McCabe coming to mind. I think the Leafs will make the playoffs this year. I think they'll sneak in at 7 or 8. I think he's going to get fired after this season, no matter what happens, unless, of course, they somehow go on a miracle run to the Eastern Conference Final, but that's definitely not going to happen. So I just think he's on his way out, and I think management is starting to... They're going to start going the way of the Raptors, and I think they're going to hire a guy like Brian Colangelo, only for hockey, just to run the entire operation, because I think as a whole, MLS is really a complicated ownership. They're probably the most screwed up ownership around. They got too many people talking.
Too many voices from different places, and they all want sort of different things.
No, I know, and I think Ferguson's going to be out no matter what happens this year, unless they go on a miraculous run. Even if they make the playoffs, they'll still get bounced in the first round. So I think he's gone no matter what.
Yeah, I think he's done enough to sort of make the team good, but I mean, you have to think of the consequences of his moves.
The funny thing about
Tosco traded draft picks for the future. I mean,
the funny thing about Ferguson is he's drafted really well as a general manager. The problem is he hasn't been drafting in great spots. I mean, the first round picks he's made, Rask and Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki's going to be great. Rask is going to be great, but for a different team. He's got Nikolai Kulin. I can't pronounce his name. He's playing one more year in Russia. Then he's coming back over here, and he's going to be pretty good from what I know. Anton Strawman is a poor man's Nick Lidstrom from what I've been told, and apparently he's going to be really good too. So, I mean, the Leafs farm system isn't as great as other teams, but it's definitely been a lot better recently. Yeah. But I think he's gone for sure.
All right, next one. Bugard fan 24 asks, who will win the cup this year?
I don't necessarily want to give it out yet because we have our season preview episode coming out, but I can give you 3 teams. And then when we do our season preview episode, Anaheim,
definitely,
San Jose, and the New York Rangers.
That's pretty good.
I think those 3 teams are the 3 teams that I can almost guarantee you, one of those 3 teams will win the Stanley Cup this year. Ottawa, I'm still shaky on Ray Emery. He's got to prove it to me one more time, because I
don't know if he really even proved anything in the playoffs. The defense was so solid, he just didn't really face a lot.
And that's what I'm worried about, because I guarantee you the Sens will face some adversity in the playoffs in the East this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
They're going to run into a New York team, or they're going to have a hard time with a team in the opening round. Like, I have a feeling Buffalo and Ottawa are on a crash course for a first-round matchup, which I think would give the Sens a handful, because they're going to be... Buffalo's not going to be nearly as good, but they're going to be playing for nothing almost, because they won't have the expectations weighed on them as they did last year.
For sure.
So I just think those 3 teams, San Jose, Anaheim, and New York Rangers, and I can almost guarantee you, that if Scott Niedermayer comes back, Anaheim's a lock.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then they fall back to
one of those 3. Yeah. Okay.